Wello? Hello, that's what I meant to say. Hello. Welcome to the MastoCast, episode 51. I am your host, Master Dan. Welcome to the monoblog podcast, the blogging thing that I talk about shit, music, games, myself, all that sort of stuff. That's what I go on about. Hello, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a nice Friday. The day this comes out, hope you fucking voted. That's right, voting is happening as I record this tomorrow. And if you listen to this now, voting will have already happened. Hopefully you've done that. And do we actually find out who was our new Prime Minister and shit by now? By the time we listen to this episode? Who knows? Who knows? It's a fucking weird time at the moment. It's a weird time. But hey ho, let's hope something good comes out of it. And hopefully whoever is our new Prime Minister is not a complete fucking tosser, which I imagine fucking will be. Yeah, I haven't got much hope. Anyways, welcome to the 51st episode. Thank you anyone who's listened to the big episode 50. Episode 50 of the podcast. It was the big Green Day review, which was a lot of fun to talk about. And today, we're coming at you with another big review, really. It's another festival one. So, this one, I'm going to be talking about Outbreak Festival. There's not much else that's happened in the week during that, really, to be honest. So, I'll be talking mainly about that. I know Capcom had, like, a Capcom Next thing going on. So that's cool. They've announced some more things. I've only had a small part of it, really. Nothing major. But I know last week I went on about Dead Rising getting its deluxe remaster. Last week we just got like a small little trailer, like a teaser. But now this time, if you go on YouTube and search for Capcom Next and Dead Rising digital remaster, it's gonna give you a whole overview of gameplay, graphics, and everything like that. The new release date digitally, I believe it's September. Let me have a look. Yeah, September 19th. And the physical versions will be arriving in November. And you bet your bottom dollar I'll be getting that motherfucker for sure. Dead Rising is just like one of those greatest games ever. Like that came out right about the time 360 came out and everything. It was just chef's kiss. Really fun. So yeah, looking forward to that. Also, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard has now been released on iOS and Mac, so you can actually play it on your iPad or on your iPhone, and you can have like integrated use of your controller, your DualSense, and yeah, it's a totally cool thing, really. Having to play Resident Evil 7 on your phone, why not? That's really, really cool. If you've not played that game, it's really good. I highly recommend it. I believe the mobile part of this, you can actually try it out. So you can try it out before you buy it. Like, I think you might get to play like the first hour of the game or something like that before buying it. But yeah, playing this on handheld, I don't know how well it runs or anything because I've not tried it yet. But looking at that, like, it looks cool. It looks really, really cool. Resident Evil 7 is great, especially like when the franchise had a massive dip in that sort of mid to late noughties. 5 and 6 being like not so good and like just filled with loads and loads of filler. Like Resident Evil 7 was like the getting back up on the horse for that franchise. Like it's such a good game, brilliant game. It's awesome. Really, really recommend anyone playing that. So yeah, it's really cool that it's available to people to play on their iPhone, which is insane. So yeah, hopefully it performs well for everyone on that sort of thing. So yeah, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, that's coming in September, November, if you go for physical like me. And of course, we are getting Resident Evil, which is awesome. It's really, really awesome. And yeah, how cool is that? In terms of games I've been playing, really, I've literally just been playing a bit more Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree. That game is still hard as fuck. Yeah, it's insane. But it is still awesome. It is still awesome. Like, it's really, really hard, but still awesome. I need to get back into it really and play with some other people, really, and like, try and progress some more. But it's great. It's absolutely great. Highly recommend it if you have. Obviously, I'd say play through Elden Ring first before you do it. Fucking get your character at a nice juicy level. That's all I'll say. And I've been playing a bit of Link's Awakening as well. I'm really, really close to finishing that now. I've collected all 8 instruments. I'm in the egg. I'm inside the eggshell, so that's a bit more of like a dungeon thing. So I'm going to be I'll probably finish that this week, hopefully. Yeah, really, really enjoying that game. It's awesome. And yeah, anyways, that's it for video games. I've not really been up to much, really, after Green Day. I literally went back to work for one day because I had holidays in and such like that. And yeah, just been prepping myself up for Outbreak, which I've been really looking forward to all year. And it finally came among us, and yeah, let's get into it. Outbreak 2024. I reviewed the festival last year. It was I believe it was the second ever episode I ever did on this podcast, and a lot has changed ever since then. It's changed quite a bit. So, firstly, it's changed venues. That doesn't make sense, does it? First off, it's changed venues. So, last year it was at the Depot Mayfield in Manchester, which used to be like a sort of, I guess, like a rail depot of some sort. Really old building, loads of bricks. It was quite cool. I really liked it, but like, the fucked up putting the Portaloos inside. So it just fucking stank of shit and piss inside the venue, and it was red hot. But they've moved it to the BEC, where, funny enough, it was the year before last year. Only this time they've added the extra stage, and the extra stage is actually outdoors. And so they've got the main stage, which is outside. They've got a second stage, which is inside, where the main stage used to be in 2022. And they've got the third stage, which is in a separate room. So yeah, I was a bit unfamiliar with it because I've never been to 2022 before. A couple of people who I went with had been that year before. So yeah, it was interesting to walk in and be a completely different sort of feel. So I will say, I really, really liked it. I really liked the venue, being outside and stuff like that. It was really well set up, I think. It got pretty busy at times. Going to the bar and such like that. There were times where the queue was fine. There was times where the queue wasn't so fine. It was just one of those things. It was kind of up and down in terms of busyness, like, just depending on what time or who was on. You know what I mean? Like, toilets were easy enough to get to. Food vendors, like, some were more popular than others. I just sort of seeked out the more sort of popular, least popular queues, because I know that all the vendors were good. Anyways, it's all vegan, like it has been every year, and like it's all like really, really nice stuff. And yeah, had some nice samosas, the same ones I had from last year, and they absolutely rule. Had a loaded hot dog. I've had pizza. I've had what else did I have? I had something else, didn't I? Yeah, I had salt and pepper chips with some like veggie gyozas. All really, really lovely food vendors. Really, really awesome. And I wish I just took all the names and like shouted them out on the podcast, but I just didn't. But like yeah, the bar was like, sort of, it was pretty expensive. I will say that. £8 for an IPA, like, that is quite a bit much for my blood. And £7 for your Stella, or the Conor McGregor forged stout that there was. There's they served other stuff as well. They served Boddingtons, of all things. Done like Strongbow, dark fruit, and all that sort of stuff. And they had wine and all that, which I don't tend to touch spirits, like, when I'm at gigs or anything. So I just stick to beer. But yeah, it was like, it was more expensive than Download was for drinks. you're talking £7 for a pint of Stella, like, which is I like Stella, it's fine. But like £8 for an IPA. The IPAs were good though. There were the Easy Camden ones, and what was the other IPA they had? They had another IPA. I forgot. It was really nice though. Oh, it was Goose Island. Goose Island's really nice. But yeah, that was a bit expensive, and your food vendors were sort of like your typical festival price, I'd say. The samosas were cheap enough though. I'd happily have them anytime. But yeah, it's yeah, I nearly said slam dunk there. Fucking hell, swearing much. Outbreak, really well organised this year. Really, really happy with the layout, everything. I was kind of worried like it was going to get a bit hectic going from outside to inside, stage to stage. But I mean, you did have to queue every now and then, but the queues weren't like too mental. You weren't having to wait ages to get in or anything like that. It was pretty fine. And like and merch is always great there at Outbreak. Like there was a big massive merchandise section with all the bands would be. Some of the bands would hang out and like other record stalls and all that. Have to shout out Devil Distro, who are actually based in Hartlepool. I didn't know that until I got to the festival. A good friend of mine, Graham, shout out. He told me that they were from Hartlepool. And I was like, holy shit! So I had a chat to the lads behind the desk, and they were really nice, and got talking about Hartlepool and such. And I bought Power Trip Nightmare Logic off them. There was 783 label who had all their import records and stuff like that, and really quirky sort of cassettes and CDs. Like they had like CDs where it was like Metallica about Lars Ulrich, or like Metallica with like And Justice for All with the bass like dialed up. And I actually bought a cassette which I've not listened to yet of them, which is Typo Negative songs recorded by grindcore bands, which is the blast beat tribute to Typo Negative. So I'm looking forward to giving that a listen. But yeah, and I got myself an Outbreak hoodie as well. Very, very nice. Very, very lovely. So yeah, the merch is always great there. I feel like the last venue's merch stall was a bit bigger. It just felt bigger at that one. But there was still plenty of stuff there. Like all the bands were there. Like I think a lot of the bands like sort of had hourly slots to have their merch on display. So if like a band was on earlier on in the day, they'd probably have their merch on for half the day, and then when a band would come in later, like their merch would then take over that stall when they've been up for a while. It was kind of like a revolving thing. Like the headliners would keep theirs up like throughout the day, and some bands didn't have merch at all, which I found a bit weird. But like the merch was reasonably priced as well. I don't believe Outbreak take any merch cuts, which is a really good thing, and more venues need to do that, to be honest, because let's face it, it's fucking wrong. Let bands make money. But yeah, I think probably one of the only things as well, like there was a bit more going on at the last one. Like you had like a little art gallery there at last year's Outbreak, and there was like a skate park as well, which was really cool. Like it would have been cool if we had like some bits and bobs there or whatever, like just to have a wander around with. But yeah, Outbreak, really well set up, really great. I've been sort of going back and forth whether I prefer last year's sort of setup to this year's. This year's was a lot bigger. Last year's was a bit more intimate. It had a bit more of this, a bit more of that. It was nice to be outside when the weather was okay. There was like sort of up and down. Like I was sort of going from back and forth with it, to be honest. But that did not stop me from joining the festival at all, which I'm going to get into now, the bands and everything. So another different thing. Last year, Outbreak was just a 3-day weekend ticket, and it had hip-hop artists included for the first time ever, and the hip-hop artists were spread across the whole 3 days, so like they were mixed in with like all the hardcore emo bands and all that sort of stuff, and like 1 minute you'd be watching Speed, and then or Higher Power or whatever, and then the next minute you'd be watching like Earl Sweatshirt or someone like that. Whereas this year they did it slightly different. So they had Friday, which was its own day, which was literally just one stage. The main stage was inside of the BEC, the Bowls Exhibition, which is this year's venue. And the rest of the weekend, your Saturday and your Sunday, was your hardcore Jason, like alternative, emo type bands that were playing the Saturday, Sunday across all three stages. And yeah, that was a bit different. I think that was my only kind of gripe with it, really. Like Friday was just completely separate. Like I get it because it was literally just a hip hop day. But at the same time, it would be cool if you just got like an all-in-one weekend ticket. That was your Friday, your Saturday, Sunday included. That like a slightly more discounted price. I guess rather than just getting a Friday one and the Saturday, Sunday bundled, if you know what I mean. Because like Saturday, Sunday was one purchase, or you could get a Saturday day ticket or a Sunday day ticket, if you get my drift. So I had to walk around with 2 wristbands. I had a Friday wristband and a Saturday, Sunday wristband. And so, yeah, that was probably my only gripe of it, really. And I think a few people just kind of thought the same as well. But nevertheless, Friday was the hip-hop day. And yeah, I guess it wasn't just hip-hop as well. There was a couple of actual bands that played. I kind of took a more relaxed approach at Outbreak this year. I didn't go mad on researching bands or anything like that. So, like Friday, I didn't really know a lot of the music that was playing, like apart from 1, 2, 3 artists. So I walked in, Mavi was playing, hip hop artist, who had a bit of a small crowd, really. It's the beginning of Outbreak, like a bit of a small crowd, but still managed to get people jumping up and down and all that. Red Veil, who was on afterwards, had a sort of similar type of sound, like the sort of boomy hip hop sort of stuff going on with a DJ behind them, hyping them up. I think Red Veil had a bit more hype about them. They had the Palestinian flag in the background, and he was talking about the number of casualties, children that have been that have been affected in the genocide and that sort of thing, and it was quite touching. They did a decent set from what I saw. Next up was supposed to be The Garden on the main stage, but due to travel complications, they had to be moved to, I believe it was 9:30 on the third stage, which was literally the only thing they could do. So like they had that third stage set up ready for the next day, so they managed to get The Garden on there. So The Garden couldn't play, so we had this literal like 2-hour gap between Red Veil and the next band that were meant to be playing on the main stage. So like it was literally just we were literally just having a chill outside, having a drink and that sort of stuff, while waiting for the next band to come on that stage, which was Beach Fossils. Beach Fossils are actually a bit more on the like jangly indie guitar sort of side, like post rock, very sort of Smithsy, Cure, that sort of stuff. Like they're a band I actually do really like. I used to rinse their album Somersault, which came out a few years ago. A good friend of mine recommended me them, and they're really good, really nice sort of summery sort of sounds. It would be really cool if they were on like the main stage outside in the sun. But yeah, like it was quite a chill sort of like approach to the festival. People would just sort of like stand there and like sort of nod their heads up and down and all that. Like they got a good reception, and like it was quite off it. Like they sounded good. They sounded great actually. I really enjoyed Beach Fossils. I think they sounded quite good, and for some reason during one of the songs, like they all swapped instruments. Like the frontman, the guitar player and the bass player would swap instruments. So at one point, the bass player played a guitar, and like it was so funny because like they're quite a chilled band, and I think something went wrong with the bass player's guitar. Like at the end of the song, like the song just finished, and he just fucking picked up his guitar and fucking clouted it on the fucking floor. He just fucking smashed it. Like it They just fucking smashed it in half. That was it. And then they just sort of turned around and went, well, does anybody want half a guitar? And then they just continued the set. Like, just out and I don't know whether he had technical issues or something like that, or he fucked up or anything like that. He just fucking snapped this guitar in half. I just thought, what the fuck? It was quite off it. But yeah, Beach Fossils were good. I need to listen to the new material, really, to be honest. Like, I just really loved Somersault when that came out in, I think, was it 2017? Just really cool, jangly guitar, sort of Beach Boys, Cure, that kind of sound. It was lovely. After that, the third last act on the bill, Flatbush Zombies. Now, I believe I may have spoke of Michi Darko from last year's Outbreak Festival review. He came on his own last year as a solo artist, and this is his trio hip hop act, Flatbush Zombies, and you know, I'm familiar with a couple of their songs, but fucking hell, people showed up for them, and it was up and down, all the way, just bouncy as fuck. I got in the fucking pit, and I fucking loved it. And what was great was like Michi Darko came back and he did this whole yes or no thing, which he did last year. Like, he was just literally going up to people going, are we having a good time? Yes or no? Like literally just fucking doing that every fucking after every song. Like, are you feeling okay? Yes or no? And then like to come out with that again this year was just like a really cool sort of flashback to last year. So I don't know whether that's something he does at every gig or he just did it at Outbreak last year and then he thought, I'll do it again at Outbreak this year. But it was really great. The Flatbush Zombies were fucking awesome. And then they played Palm Trees right at the end, which is like one of the biggest singles. It's got like 120 million views on YouTube or something like that. But that song's a fucking tune. But yeah, they were great. JPEG Mafia, I didn't watch too much, to be honest. I barely know anything by JPEG Mafia. I like a bit of the Danny Brown album they did, which he did do. He did some the Stop Scaring the Whores album, which came out last year. Did a couple of those. Did one or two of Veteran, and yeah, he definitely got that crowd worked up. And like, you know, I don't know. I never knew what the lad looks like or anything like that. He had his hood up the whole way. I mean, like, he had a lot of energy and he was DJing himself. So like, he was going back and forth like to his like his setup and like, you know, like setting songs up and everything like that. And yeah, I was quite impressed with what he did. But like the crowd were going fucking mental for him. Like, they were great. But like, I had to leave a little bit early because I wanted to get there to the third stage for The Garden. And The Garden are a band I sort of picked up on the run up to Outbreak Festival. So like, I saw that there were this weird 2-piece band, and they got some really cool like rock songs or like weird fusion mixed stuff, indie. He's got a song featuring Mac DeMarco, some gothy sort of songs. Like, they have a fan base which is kind of Juggalo adjacent, if you like, kind of like an Aldi version of Juggalos. Like, they got like this weird sort of black and white clown makeup, similar to like Insane Clown Posse, and it was just full of them. Like, they were just a fucking mad crowd. The only thing with this set The Garden put on the third stage, and it might not be their fault, you know, that they've arrived on the third stage. It wasn't meant to happen like that. They might not have even had a chance to sound check or anything. So it might have been a bit of a pain in the ass or whatever. But the sound was not good for The Garden. It was muddy as fuck. I could barely hear a thing. It popped up for them though. Like, the maddest crowd I've seen all day, like, was for The Garden. Like, it was punky, it was rowdy. There was people stage diving, two-stepping and all sorts, and like, it was fucking bonkers for The Garden. I don't know how popular they visit the UK at all, or anything like that, but they were fucking mental. But yeah, it's just a shame that the sound wasn't very good, because I was quite looking forward to them. And like, yeah, I kind of situated myself within like the quote unquote mosher zone, if you will. like the barricaded bit where all the moshes are. I sort of situated myself within that perimeter, I guess. But yeah, the sound was not good for the garden at all, unfortunately. So I left them early, really. So I got there just in time for Action Bronson, who was the headliner for the Friday. Action Bronson, I did not know a lot about on the lead up to the festival. I listened to his album Mr. Wonderful, which is wonderful, I may say. Really sort of cool hip hop, like filled with like jazz and blues and that sort of thing. Like it just sounds really, really cool. And Action Bronson brought a fucking band with them, and the band were absolutely brilliant. Action Bronson, for me, the best one on the Friday. Definitely. Action Bronson were fantastic. As much as I loved Flatbush Zombies set, Action Bronson, just having the band there was a fantastic touch. Like, he didn't talk a lot, really. He just kind of did the music, let the music do the talking. He, like, really fully vibing with the band, like, really nodding his head to it and everything, having his eyes closed. And like having a really, he's got such a really cool flow about him. I love the sort of tone of his voice, and yeah, the band were fantastic. Like the keyboard player who also did saxophone duties, lead guitar player, drummer, someone on bongos, bass player. Like it was a good like 6-piece band. Like it sounded fantastic. Like it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The man. Yeah, I've been want to see Action Bronson with a band. I was what I was kind of hoping for, like when I was listening to the album. Like I was kind of thinking, it'd be really cool if he brings a band, and he did, and it sounded absolutely awesome. And like hearing some of the songs like from that Mr. Wonderful album was great, and yeah, like it was fantastic to watch. I thought it was awesome. So yeah, that was my Friday really. Just one stage full of hip hop acts, a couple of actual bands, a rapper with a band. It was good. It was a really good day. It was good to sort of. It was a weird sort of like last year. I walked in and Tsunami were playing and there was moshes everywhere and it was fucking brutal. Whereas this just felt like a nice sort of chill out way to sort of walk in, watch some rappers who I've not really heard of before, and just vibe. It was a good vibe, and I really enjoyed them. All right, so let's talk about the Saturday. So Saturday, all 3 stages are open. It's all band time. It's emo. It's fucking metal. It is hardcore. It is punk. This is it. This is Outbreak Festival in full swing. So I got there sort of in the morning, sort of like about 11:30, something like that. First band I watched was the second band on the main stage, which was Higher Power. Higher Power, I've seen this band a bunch of times. I talked about them recently when I saw Super Heaven. Higher Power on that main stage, and they've got this new little get up. They've got like a fucking they've all got these like bowling t-shirts, like really like baby blue sort of bowling t-shirts with Higher Power logo on them, and like they've got like each band member have got their name on like you sort of like the cursive sort of like writing. Looked really, really cool, and yeah, it had like their name like up on the that LED board behind them. This was outdoors. This was probably when the weather was at its best, I dare say. It was nice and sunny, and yeah, Higher Power fucking brought it, man. They were awesome. I think this might be the best time I've seen Higher Power. And, you know, every time I see them, it tends to be like, they were good this day, they weren't so good this day, they were good this day, they weren't so good this day. You know what I mean? I believe might be the best one I've seen them on, like, whatever they got cooking, whatever albums they got going on. I reckon they're going to be releasing an album pretty soon. The new singles sound fucking awesome, and I'm really, really looking forward to what they got cooking up. And, yeah, it's not the biggest crowd. I was hoping for a little bit more because I just feel like Higher Power needs just a bit more of a push from people. I feel like they've been around for a long enough time. Like they're pretty much like one of the house bands of UK hardcore. I feel like every man, woman, and a dog should have been there for Higher Power. Like, but it was still great. There was still a fair bit of energy in that pit. They played a lot of stuff from like the first album and 27 Miles Underwater, and like the latest album and the new stuff. I think they played one from like one of their early EPs as well. Yeah, Higher Power, fucking great. They were awesome. Good to see them again. Then went to see Nothing, who played on the main stage, and I went right to the bloody front for Nothing. One of my good friends who I was there with, is a massive Nothing fan, so he went straight to the front. So I pretty much followed him there, and Nothing are like a full-on fucking shoegaze band, and this is the 10-year anniversary of Guilty of Everything, which came out 10 years ago, of course. And yeah, it was really cool to be there. I really loved their album that came out in 2020 called The Great Dismal. I think I actually prefer that album more, but Guilty of Everything is still a great album. And yeah, it was cool to see them play that album like from front to back, and they sounded fucking enormous. They were really cool, and you know, like they were very sort of you know, like all shoegaze bands are, sort of just like kind of stagnant and just like playing the music full of fucking reverb and everything. But they sounded great. I really enjoyed Nothing. I thought they were good. And next on that main stage was Ceremony. Now, Ceremony I don't know a lot about. I'll be honest. But they fucking brought it. Like, they looked fucking awesome. The guitar player, like, they were wearing like it was like a tight sort of leopard print suit with these leather heels. Looked fucking awesome. Like, they played guitar, they played keyboards, played a guitar at one point. Looked fucking ace. Like, I believe they opened up one of their newer songs, which is like quite slow, piano led, and then they went straight into like the older stuff, which everyone knew. And then the pit absolutely erupted. Like, fucking people crowd surfing and jumping all over the place. The front man is a angry bald man. He very, very sort of barky, very scrappy sounding sort of hardcore music. And I am going to be listening to this band, definitely, because I really, really enjoyed them. One of the better bands that played on that Saturday. They were fucking brilliant. They were really, really good. Like, I was captivated by that whole set. Like, you know, I'm not really familiar with Ceremony, but like, they've gained a new fan big time. I would have watched Balance and Composure next, really. But it's worth pointing out, we actually got a notification on our Outbreak app when we woke up this morning that they also had travel complications getting to the UK. So the only way around that was putting Balance and Composure on the main stage at about 11:50 the next day. So at least I found a way around that, definitely, which is good. But yeah, we had a bit of a gap on the main stage, so we used that time to check out some bands that were on the second stage. Had a couple of drinks and stuff. So we saw Jive Bomb and Never Ending Game. Just like I said, I don't know much about them. The Jive Bomb sounded very, very angry, very, very cool. It's kind of like Scowl. Never Ending Game was like that sort of Hatebreed, sort of driven, like hardcore, which sounded really, really cool. Kind of like a Malevolence sort of aesthetic, I guess, like trackies and shit, you know. But Never Ending Game were quite cool. But yeah, that was all. This was leading up to what was going to be next on the main stage. Poison the Well. They're one of the returning to the UK in a long time. I'm going to say about 20 years. I don't think Poison the Well. They played a London show the Thursday before the festival in the New Cross Inn, but they are back on festival grounds. People there ready to witness Poison the Well, from a band from the sort of late 90s, early noughties, one of the OGs of metalcore, you know. If it wasn't for them, you know, Killswitch Engage, Avenged Sevenfold, you forget about it. You wouldn't have fucking heard of them big time. Poison the Well are like one of the OG metalcore bands, but just like never broke out. which is mad. They just have like a real hardcore sort of fan base, and like, like festivals like Outbreak are one of the happier ones to book them on. You never see them at Download or anything like that, but Outbreak got the back. Poison Noel on that main stage was fucking awesome. Were absolutely brilliant. They were really, really great. I'm a bit more familiar with their stuff. Like, I've been rinsing them ever since they got announced, and songs from The Opposite of December and Tear from the Red. Love those albums, and like they played some stuff from the album before, like the album after Tear from the Red. Let me just see what that album is called. I apologize. You Come Before You. This sounded great. They sounded massive. Very, very passionate on stage. Like, they've, a band going that long, like, they've still got that fire and that energy within them. And I struggle to remember the frontman's name, but he's got a really cool singing voice, as well as a really fucking awesome, like, screamy voice, like deep sort of great screamy voice. They were fucking great. Opened with Botchler, pit erupted, got loads of fucking stage divers, and a big massive stage invasion at the end for what's it called, for Nerdy. It was fucking insane. Like, they had to stop Nerdy right at the very middle of the song to get loads of people off the stage, because they didn't trust the integrity of the stage. So yeah, they had to tell them to get off, basically. Yeah, but then they just started Nerdy again, and then the pit went fucking mad for them again. Yeah, it was really, really cool. Like, you could tell there was loads of people in that pit who were just like dying to see Poison the Well for the first time, or someone who has not seen them since, like, the early noughties. You know what I mean? So it was really, really cool to see that. There was a lot of people getting nostalgic over them. They were really fucking awesome, and like, they really, really enjoyed it on stage. That you can tell. Next up, right, without a shadow of a doubt, probably my band of the whole weekend, Touche Amore. They were absolutely stunning. Touche Amore were incredible. They were absolutely incredible. The band sounded brilliant. They were tight as fuck. Jeremy Baum, what a front man, just playing some of the best music ever of that sort of post-hardcore, emo sort of thing. It was very Stage 4 sort of led. Like, that album is one of my favourite albums of all time. Like, play a lot of stuff from that, and other stuff from like Dead Horse and Is Survived By, as well as Lament, the latest album, which is also fucking great. Departing the Seas Between Brightness and Me, like, fucking amazing album. Like, they were incredible. It was like a proper best of set with a lot of songs from like Stage 4, and they also played a new song as well, a song that we've not heard yet. Jeremy Baum said on stage, we're going to be playing a new song that will be an album we've been working tirelessly on. We don't know any more information of that new album, but we're going to be getting a new Touche Amore album, and that really excites me. They were absolutely sensational. People absolutely screaming every fucking word of those songs. They were unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, Touche Amore. Just, like, people go mad in the pit. Stage invasions, the lot. Stage 4 is incredible. Like, yeah, it was absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Next up was the core headliners, okay? So we had Have Heart, who are hardcore veterans, pretty much. I don't know a lot of Have Heart. I started getting into them more when I got announced for Outbreak. I really love the Songs to Scream at the Sun album. That's a fucking awesome album. But I don't know a lot else by them, to be honest. All I know is that they don't really gig all that often. But they were fucking insanely good. A very, very passionate set from them. One of the most passionate sets I've seen of a band in my life. They were fucking great. They were out for blood. And with everything that's going on at the moment, with the whole genocide and all that, with Palestine, Israeli stuff, like, there was some sets that were dedicating themselves to that cause, and the Have Heart set was definitely one of the more passionate ones. Like, he didn't speak for much of it, the set, right up until, I believe, like, the second to last song. It was, let me try and think. He had, the backdrop was an author of a book, which I just need to try and find now because I'm an idiot and I didn't have it there ready for me. It's on my Instagram somewhere. I do have it. Don't worry. I will get it up. Let me see. Where's it at? Yes. Yes. Isabel din Abalash. Yeah. And he basically had the title of this book as their backdrop, and the singer was talking about, like, last time they were over in the UK, his 2-year-old daughter had to be rushed to hospital for surgery, and it was very, very touching sort of speech. And he mentioned that this hotel person thought that he was Irish, this receptionist, and they said, "Oh, thank fuck for the Irish," because the funny thing is he's from Boston, Massachusetts. So, but he thought he was Irish because of his name. Anyways, he thought he said, "Thank God for the Irish because they're the only one who give a shit about my Palestinian country." And as a history teacher as well, he was being given this book by Isildain Abalash, and basically it is about, like, himself. He's actually a Palestinian doctor, and the book is called I Shall Not Hate, and underneath, like, the author's name, like, on the backdrop, it had I Shall Not Hate all across it, like, repeated. And it was just like this sort of this book, which I kind of want to read, actually. It's about his life growing up in poverty, like, and he's determined to treat patients, whether they're in Gaza or Israel, regardless of their ethnic origin. Like, he's there to help save lives, whether they're Israeli or they're of his own origin. You know what I mean? And, like, he was talking about this book, and it was really inspiring and everything, and, like, just like this Have Heart set, like, really, really went off. Like, there was absolute hell on. They were fantastic. So yeah, and the guitar player looked a lot like Keanu Reeves, to the point I had to do a fucking double take. I was like, is that? Nah, it's not. It just looked a lot like him. And yeah, they were awesome. I went over to the second stage to see Show Me the Body, and no, it wasn't Show Me the Body. Sorry, it was Chat Pile. Chat Pile are a fucking great band. I really like them. I loved their album that came out last year. They're, like, kind of like a really discordant, very sort of muddy sounding band, like, kind of like Daughters, but without the icky sort of, issues that are going on with that band at the moment. The frontman of that band, anyways. The album God's Country that came out last year is oh no, not last year, 2 years ago. It's a fucking absolutely disgusting sounding album, like, really industrial. But yeah, they were fucking big sounding. People were going fucking mad for that band. People were going mad for all the bands, to be honest. But yeah, people were going extra mad for Chat Pile. And yeah, they were really cool. I only saw parts of the set, like, sort of in the middle, because, like, I just watched Have Heart, and I had to get back in time for the last band on the main stage, which was Basement. I've seen Basement a good few times. Basement are always fantastic live, and it's good to see them back. They are working on new music. They showed off 2 new tracks at the festival, and yeah, Basement were fucking brilliant. They were absolutely awesome, just wonderful. One of the better bands of the day. Like, for me, Touche Amore, Basement, Ceremony, fantastic bands, absolutely incredible. And yeah, like, it was literally just the greatest hits set of all the stuff. I think last time they played Outbreak 2 years ago, it was literally just like an anniversary album, like the first 2 albums, like Come With Me and Kindness and I Wish You Were Still Here. They were playing those 2 albums. Whereas this time, it was literally just a big, massive greatest hits set, and, like, 16 songs, and it was all fucking amazing. It was great. They were playing in the fucking rain, like, it was really fucking emo, and it was awesome. Like, the band sounded great. Andy Fisher was awesome. He was pretty much echoing Have Heart's message earlier on, but he kind of said, this is the best way to get your message across. Make art. Keep making art. Make music, form bands and all that, which was really inspiring again. And yeah, Basement were fucking brilliant. I love that band. One of my favourite bands of that sort of like hardcore, alternative, adjacent emo type bands, I guess. Post-hardcore, I guess. You know what I mean? Yeah, they were fucking brilliant. They were absolutely awesome. Proper greatest hits set. Ended with COVID. Many people did a stage invasion, and like it was like, when I'm with you, and I wanna be with you. Like, it's mad how that song's blown up on TikTok. They've been fucking mint the whole time. What you's on about? But yeah, that was the Saturday of Outbreak Festival. Oh, I should point out as well, I was just walking through after Basement and Show Me the Body were playing on the second stage, and I literally just caught the last song and they covered Sabotage by Beastie Boys. Sabotage on a fucking distorted banjo. It was fucking cool. But yeah, that was it for my my Saturday. Yeah, it was awesome. I'm gonna take a nice sip of this can of cherry coke. I'm not gonna edit this out. That was yummy. That was delicious. Yeah. So, anyways, as I said before, because Balance and Composure couldn't make it on the Saturday due to travel complications, they had to be moved to being the first band on the main stage. So they went on till about 10 to 12 in the morning. So they came on and played a really good fucking set for that time in the morning. Lots of people showed up for them. It's the first time in the UK in about 10 years. They had a bit of a hiatus. They're working on a new album now as well, which I'm really excited for. Because them new songs sound fucking great. They sounded great live. They were kind of just like waking up a little bit. Like you could tell when I got there. Like he even said he was like, it's so hard to rock at 10 to 12 in the morning. So which is, it's absolutely fair enough with all the shit that's going on. But like performance wise and everything, like they still sounded great. They still sounded awesome. They still sounded on point. I loved them. They were really, really great. Yeah. There was loads of people stage diving and shit for them like in the morning. It was awesome. And let's see, I was kind of wandering about for a little bit. I didn't watch a lot of The Well Is a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die. Watched a little bit, but I was kind of just wandering around the merch and all that sort of stuff. Went to see Angel Dust, baby. Angel Dust, who I've talked about in this podcast before. Seen them live a bunch of times. They were fucking class, man. Like, I went in the fucking pit for that one, big time. And enjoyed my bloody head off. They were just fucking great. Like, Justice Tripp is the fucking boyo. What a cool frontman he is. Like, a good expansive set. Like, pretty much just stuff from the AD album, which is my favourite, all the way to Brand New Soul. Like, a good mix of songs for those 4 albums. And, yeah, they were great. Really aggro. Like, literally the second that came on, right in the Toxic Boombox, like pit fucking erupted. I was in there. I was like, let's fucking go. Come on then. And yeah, they were great. They were really, really awesome. Went to see Fiddlehead on the main stage as well, which is actually formed of a supergroup from one person from Basement and one person from Have Heart, which was I believe is his name Mike from Have Heart. I believe is the singer. He was he's the frontman of Fiddlehead as well, and one of the guitar players from Basement plays guitar in Fiddlehead as well. So, been doing the double duties for the weekend, which was awesome to see. I talked about Fiddlehead's album last year, which is fucking brilliant. It's a great album. Death Is Nothing to Us. They played a lot of songs off that, as well as like some of their first album. They were great. They sounded a little bit quiet for me, and it started raining a bit, which pissed me off a little. But yeah, Fiddlehead sounded good. They were lovely. After that, did a bit more wandering around, drinking and shit. Went to see the Hotelier on the main stage, and this is another anniversary set. This was the 10-year anniversary of fuck, what's that album called? Honestly, all these emo bands have fucking long album names that I can't friggin' remember. Home Like No Places There it was the 10-year anniversary of that album, and like before I went to see them, like I do like that album. I thought it was, I think it's like decent. A lot of people give it the whole masterpiece treatment, so like 10 out of 10 thing, which I think there's a lot better albums out there than like that of this genre. Really, like I think some of like Spanish Love Songs albums are way better. But like I gotta say, like when they came on and played that album in full, it made me appreciate it a lot more. It sounded a bit more raw, a bit more lively. Everyone fucking loved it. Like there was loads of people like screaming, singing these songs like live, and like loads of people like I was fucking laughing my head off at one point. Like sort of halfway through the set, like that the front man was talking about like the album that they're playing in full, and like the sort of what it means to them, where they were at that sort of point of time, and all that sort of thing. Like you do trying to do this meaningful speech, and while that was happening, I was just watching some guy like crowd surfing like during this fucking speech. Like it would not stop. He just kept on going. Like it was just so funny. Like it was one of those things you had to be there to find it funny. But I think a lot of people were laughing around as well. But yeah, the Hotelier were really good. Like I kind of prefer that album a bit more now, like after seeing it live. I still don't think it's like, 10 out of 10 worthy or anything like that. It's just one of those sort of tugging on your shirt, like heart and sleeve, like anthemic pop punk adjacent sort of bands. But yeah, it sounded good. I did say, oh, sorry, I missed this band. There was a band I watched before the Hotelier called Killing Me Softly, who were on the third stage. And literally the third stage is like your fucking beat down bands, right? And Killing Me Softly were straight edge fucking metalcore, the sort of style of like Poison the Well, Vane, those type of bands, See You Space Cowboy. And to be honest, I never even heard of them. But I just sort of wandered in with my brother because I had no other bands to watch. So I thought, yeah, I'll give them a go. And fucking hell, they were heavy. They were heavy. Like we were kind of looking at that stage like from a higher view, and you could just see fucking elbows and arms swinging all over the place. Like it was fucking brutal. And, like the dude like had like a proper harsh scream on him, and like probably give it some fucking oomph on them pig squeals, honestly. And it was just like typical sort of like breakdown. Like, it was fucking great. I then saw Teenage Wrist, who were on the second stage, who are a band I've raved about. A band I've really, really raved about on this podcast before. Like their album that came out last year, Sunshine, is absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love it. They were a band I was looking forward to for a long time, but the sound just wasn't there for them. They were on that second stage. Yeah, the sound wasn't good for them. Like no matter where I stood, I was right at the front at one point because there was barely anyone there. About 5 minutes before they went on, it wasn't until like some of the other bands finished that like they started getting the crowd, because unfortunately they were on like the same time as Movements on the main stage. Like Movements have, they got quite a big following as well, and like there was nothing but enemies on the third stage for all that hardcore stuff. So yeah, it took a bit of time for the crowd to sort of build up for Teenage Wrist. It kind of got a bit better. Like I kind of thought like Teenage Wrist felt like they didn't belong there. I think there might have been a bit of nerves just because of the hardcore aspect. They might have thought they were too light. But yeah, I mean the songs that they played, like I do love them songs. They are incredible. But yeah, that was just it sounded a bit muddy from what I can hear. So yeah, which is a bit of a shame really. And I went to the main stage just as they finished for Joyce Manor, who also doing another anniversary set. And Joyce Manor did 10 years of Never Hungover Again, which is my favourite Joyce Manor album. It's a fucking beast of an album. It's great. They all must have been on stage for about 20 minutes, though. Like, because like their songs are like a minute and a half long, something like that. they were fucking awesome. Like, they just sounded perfect. They sounded great. And I've seen Joyce Manor a couple of times. They're amazing live. They're absolutely great. Just the best sing along, what minute and a half songs you can ever write. They were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant. It got fucking mad towards the end though. Like, they played the album and fall, and then they played Constant Headache, and then everyone got on that fucking stage. And similar to what happened to Poison the Well, like, they had to escort people off there because they didn't trust the integrity of that platform. So they basically finished Constant Headache, and they said, "Oh, I've got time for more," and they were just like, "No," and then they had to go, which was unfortunate. But like, you know, they were still fucking great. They were still brilliant. They then went back over to the second stage for Incendiary, who were fucking brutal as fuck. They were great. I love the songs from Million. What the fuck's that album called? Hardcore bands with the fucking long album titles. Incendiary. They're just fucking great. They're very, very sort of beat downy hardcore. 1,000 Miles Stare, that's the one. I nearly said Million Miles Stare. 1,000 Miles Stare. Open Up was still burning. Like, they're just fucking Hatebreed adjacent sort of like hardcore. They were fucking great. And that fucking song at the end was "Every Window Deserves a Brick." Like, that fucking beatdown. Every window deserves a brick. Like, everyone getting up on there and fucking screaming it on the fucking microphone. Yeah, it was fucking mental for that band. They sounded great. Who did I see afterwards? I waited around on that stage for Harm's Way, who I'm a big fan of, because their fucking album, Common Suffering, last year, and the other album they had before that, Posthuman, is incredible. Their frontman is a fucking tank. The biggest fucking dude I've ever seen. He is a fucking bodybuilder. He's massive. Like, you should be fucking scared of him. Honestly, he's a fucking unit. But Harm's Way were fucking brilliant. They sounded heavy as fuck. Like, they're awesome. Like, I love their new album because it sounds fucking Gojira in some parts. Like, they're very sort of, they're more on the metal side than they are on hardcore, I believe. And there's a lot of like industrial in their sound. And yeah, they were fucking great. And, you know, big ups to Bo, who plays guitar in that band, from the Hard Law podcast, one of my favorite podcasts ever. They were awesome. They were really, really fucking awesome. And like, you know, they played the meme song, which people know. The meme where people just fucking like put any song over the dude, like where he's two-stepping. Yeah, they played that, and yeah, the finish of it, and it was fucking great. Yeah, Harm's Way were brilliant on that day. They were one of my highlights of that Sunday, I gotta say. They were brilliant. And went over to the third stage straight away to see Demonstration of Power, who were headlining that third stage. They were the last band on it. They went fucking mental. Everyone was going fucking batty, swinging fucking arms everywhere. And at the end, like, they had like these sort of confetti cannons and like shooting it all over the audience. Like, they had a massive turnout for that third stage. Like, people were definitely there for them. I don't know anything about Demonstration of Power. I just sort of wandered over there with the people I was with. And yeah, they were great. They were awesome. They were good fun. And I believe they are Scottish. They were awesome. And went back to the second stage. Like, this was all fucking mental, by the way. Me going back and forth, main stage, second stage, third stage. Like, there was literally bands starting up as one would finish. Like, it was just rammed. It was jam-packed. So, next band I went to see, Thursday. And I watched a little bit of their set. No, actually, no. I couldn't think about it. I watched all of it. Yeah, Thursday. I know the odd song here and there. They were basically doing like a kind of like an anniversary of like their earlier albums, like Full Collapse, and they had another album that they were celebrating as well. I mean, it was War All the Time and Full Collapse. And yeah, they were good actually. They were really good. I don't know a lot by them, like I say, but people were so stoked to see them, and like they were fucking stoked to be there as well. Like, you know, they are at heart like a hardcore band, and like from New Jersey, so they've got that emo twinge to them. Like, people were definitely there for nostalgia for that band, rightfully so. And yeah, they sounded good. And Jeremy Baum joined them on stage for a song as well, which was cool to see. And yeah, people went fucking mad for them at the end. What's that fucking song called? That they finished. I think it's "Understanding in a Car Crash." Yeah, that one. Yeah, they were good. They were really good. I might have to give them more of a listen. Really, I got Haley a t-shirt though from the match. Nice t-shirt actually. It's really cool. And finishing the whole weekend off was American football. This was incredible. This was absolutely incredible. If it wasn't for Touche Amara, this will be the set of the weekend. And I was quite, yeah, I was quite interested to see how this would go down because American football are quite a chill band, aren't they? Like, they're very sort of mathy but chill, very sort of relaxing sounding. And this was the 25th anniversary of LP on their first album, which is an absolute masterpiece. And getting to see this stuff live, so they opened up with an instrumental number, like sort of like an interlude, and well, not an interlude, an intro. Fucking, and then they started playing the album in full, but from track 2, and they sounded absolutely incredible. They sounded amazing. They had like all the lights and everything. They had all the video animations of like the house from the LP1 cover, like different rooms of the house and stuff, and different angles, and like it looked amazing. Like the sound was perfect for them. Like the end of Honestly sounded like a fucking Deftones like part. It was amazing, and it was just like this amazing ending to the festival. Like, we've spent this weekend like surrounded by moshes and everything and hardcore people, like all this aggressive music and fucking spin kicking and stage diving, stage versions, all that sort of stuff. Like heavy bands, heavy music, all that sort of stuff. And to be ending with this beautiful set from American football in the sunset, there was people, hugging each other, dancing hand in hand, coming up on that platform where bands would usually two-step and stage dive. People were still stage diving to them, even though they're such a chill band. Like, people were still stage diving, but, like, people would get up there, hand in hand, fucking, like, just dancing with each other. It was just, like, the most happy, positive vibe to the end of this festival, and, like, honestly, yeah, when they were playing Stay Home into one of the waltzes, like, I just looked around, and it was one of the most beautiful things I ever seen. I started fucking crying like a fucking girl. Well, not a girl, sorry, a fucking baby. It was like, honestly, I just looked around. I was just fucking sobbing all over. Like, I was just like, I just couldn't help myself. I was just looking around. I was like, this is just one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. Like, the sunset and American football playing, this amazing, just incredible music from an absolute masterpiece of an album. The trumpet came in. I started fucking crying. I just couldn't help myself. Like, and they ended with Never Meant. So obviously Never Meant is the big song, which is the start of the album. So they just saved it till last rather than like starting the set with it. And they, like, everyone got up and invaded the stage again. Mike and Sella, the frontman, like, started stage diving with them for it. Like, it's just that intro. Let's just forget everything we said. Oh god, it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. Like I didn't think I'd come away with American football being one of the highlights. Like, to be honest, just I thought I'd be going in there thinking, yeah, all the fucking heavy bands are going to be the best. Like, and instead, like American football definitely were the band of the day for me. Touche Amore, the band of the weekend, for sure. But like, that set was just absolutely beautiful. I loved it. Like, I could watch that set over and over again. I really can't wait for the like all of the footage to be uploaded onto YouTube at some point. I imagine it'll be within the probably next 3 or 4 months, something like that, like it was last year. But yeah, that's it. American football finished. Went back to the hotel, drank some tinnies with the boys, and yeah, Outbreak again. Just the most wonderful weekend, the most wonderful festival. And it was awesome. It was just absolutely awesome. Just everyone there, all the punters who got a ticket to go there, like everyone, even though everyone's like spin kicking and shit like that, everyone's just so friendly. Everyone's just friendly. All the staff was great. All the staff knew where everything were. Like I asked for like where the welfare tent was, like by one of the guards, like just so I can get some earplugs because I forgot them on one of the days, and like kindly like showed me where they were and everything, and like there was just positive vibes all over. Loads of people started complimenting me on my Metal Gear Solid 2 t-shirt that I was wearing on the Friday. I was like, oh, thank you. Just loads of people having fun. Like it was just fucking awesome. Like it was great. It was so great. All the vegan food was lovely, and just set out really well. I couldn't complain. Shout out to all of the security that were working on the stages and all that, making sure people were like safe and everything. And Daitan, who's going to be doing the videography throughout the whole festival, they've recorded 62 sets, so they're going to be waiting for permission from all of the bands of who's going to be uploading like what sets. 9 times out of 10, the bands say yes. I think last year Death Grips and Arm & Hammer were the only ones who said no. But yeah, most of the band sets will be uploaded soon, and I can't wait to watch them. Yeah, so that's it. That is Outbreak 2024. There we go. And yeah, incredible weekend. Absolutely incredible weekend. I loved it. That'll do it. That'll do it for today. Sorry, I forgot to drink my Coke. Yummy. There we go. Anyways, that'll do it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you like, share, subscribe, and all that sort of shit. I'll be back next week for episode 52. And what am I doing? What the heck am I doing? Hopefully, going to be doing some more streaming. I've not done it because it's been busy going to Glasgow and going to Outbreak and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, there's nothing on. I'm going to try and finish some games. I'm going to try and do some streaming, all that sort of stuff. I'm back at work and everything, so yeah. No gigs to go to. Not until turnover in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah. Oh yeah, bought a car. That's another mad thing. Anyways, I will see you next week for episode 52. Hope you're having a lovely weekend. And yeah, hope the weather stays alright. Fucking hell, it's just started raining now as I'm signing off. If you were listening to me on Spotify or Apple Music or Apple Podcasts or anything like that, do feel free to share the episodes or like, follow it, that sort of thing. If you listen on YouTube, do subscribe, helps the channel a lot, and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, there's also the Discord in the description if you'd like to join the family there. You'll get to know when the episode is out, which is usually every Friday, and of course when I'll be streaming next. So yeah, thanks very much everybody for your time, and I will see you next week. Goodbye!